Welcome back to Last Stop Sports Talk. Today is episode 106, and this is our top 10 wide receivers in the 2026 NFL draft class. With the Draft Brothers here, it's Kean Kropp, Carson Kropp, I'm Cody Kropp, and we're going to dive right into it. Yeah, woo! We watched all the receivers in the top consensus big board 300, and we ranked them all up, and yeah, this is our third rankings episode here, so sit down, relax, and we're going to dive in and hit you with a good one right here, starting off at our number 10 consensus ranked, Josh Cameron from Baylor. He's 6'1.5", 220 pounds. In 2025, he played 12 games, had 102 targets with 69 receptions, 872 receiving yards, 9 receiving touchdowns, 12.6 yards per reception with 1 drop. Kean and Carson had him 10, and I had him 13.
Josh Cameron. Stick around, everybody. Don't click off the video. This is probably our hottest take of the video, or one of them.
Definitely.
So, at least myself, I think that there's a big teardrop after 9, so this is kind of just the shot in the dark that we all want to take, and I think that we have good reason for that. This guy is very thick. He has a running back-like build, plays very hard, very strong play strength, which is why I fell in love with him. He's a reliable target across the middle, like Cody said, only 1 drop.
Yep.
If the ball's near him, he's catching it. He caught lots of bad throws in his highlights. Ball underthrown behind him, ball thrown on the shoelaces, way above him, in front of him, whatever. He catches it all, and then he's strong after the catch as well. Decent burst for his big size, and even if he doesn't make it as a full-time receiver in the league, I have a lot of confidence that he'll stick around because he's an excellent special teams guy. He was so electric on punt returns. He's great after the catch, shedding tackles, and then even if he isn't a punt returner, I think he could still be essential on kickoff and everything else because, like I said, big body, plays hard. He could lay the boom even as a defender if he needs to on special teams. So, yeah, I love Josh Cameron.
Yeah, 220 pounds. He's strong and powerful as a wide receiver. Always running with a full head of steam and crazy legs while fighting for extra yards, finishing out plays. He uses his strength to fight back to the ball in contested catch situations. He's not a jumper, but he's a fighter who wills himself into position to catch the ball. 16 of 27 on contested catch opportunities in 2025 alone. That's a 59.3% catch rate. That's pretty darn high. I'm going to talk about contested catch rate here throughout this video. That's pretty darn high compared to a lot of this class. And actually, what I love about bigger receivers like this, I only love, I guess, a bigger receiver if they can cut well. And what I saw from Josh Cameron is that he can cut really well. One strong plant, turns sharply for his size, not afraid to cut laterally, looks like more clompy and kind of sloppy, but he understands that moving laterally is important for his game. He's impressive at weaving between defenders with abrupt changes of direction. I was impressed with his speed for 220 pounds. We didn't get to see him run a 40-yard dash, but on film, he was never hampered by being a big back receiver. Sticky hands, like you said, only 1 drop. Yeah, I was surprised that he was a punt returner for being a big wide receiver. They threw him in there for punt returns. And, yeah, 14.0 yards per return over his college career. And my final pro for him, I think he's just fun to watch because I feel like he surprises me on so many plays where I'm like, oh, I didn't realize he could do that. But he's definitely got some dog in him, I'd say. So that's what really launched Josh Cameron up in my rankings.
Yeah, I love a big body receiver like him that can do things that doesn't look like he should be able to, just like Kean was saying. Yeah, he's just smooth in a lot of his game too, even though he's so large. Like his adjustments to passes and things like that, he's just looks natural at it, which is so fun to watch because he's 220 pounds. Yeah, he's just a dominating force when it comes to contested catches, like Kean was saying. I love that, and yeah, I love a lot of his traits that he has that can be hopefully developed more in the league. Yeah, I'll let you guys start with cons.
Overall, just limited speed.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest con for this guy that is obvious on tape, and then because of that, partially, I think he's going to struggle to create separation himself. The other partial thing that causes that is I think his route running needs some work as well. But overall, I do think he's still good. But like I just said, athleticism, and despite his large size and strength, I also think he needs to work on his release because sometimes corners do affect him off the line, which is surprising because he is 220. But I think that should he work on that, I really love him as a big, strong slot guy or a Z receiver.
Yeah, he's not a He's not a separator. Exactly, like you said. And after the catch, actually, he doesn't break as many tackles as I would expect for his size, going up against some corners that are like 185, 190, 30-pound difference. And he takes some huge shots that knock him off his feet and cause him to land on his back or his side. I think his acceleration is okay at best, which is kind of expected for his size. And for me, I think he seems kind of out of control. Like he's trying to do too much sometimes. His cuts don't always look calculated or planned. It's more like he's just trying shit to see what gets him past the defender. And then he stumbles quite a bit, like he's in a constant battle against gravity. But he's got an intriguing build to be a yak monster, but I don't really know what the benefit of his build is if he's not a tackle-breaking machine, which he's not. He's not a tackle-breaking machine. So, I don't really know what the benefit is of holding 220 pounds on his body. So it's more of a disadvantage to him as an outside receiver, honestly. Yeah.
I don't have much to add. I completely agree with that.
You have a unique comp for this guy?
I do, yeah. My comp for Josh Cameron is that he is your St. Bernard who is so happy that you're home. He's got the energy to give every play his all. Legs flailing everywhere. He cuts so hard in front of you just to try to run around you or end up plowing right through you like he doesn't understand how big and strong he is. Most likely causing both of you to end up on the ground. And when he's trying to break tackles, he also kind of looks like a guy who's trying to charge at someone else to fist fight him, but his friends are holding him back. He's still pushing, swinging his arms, kicking his legs, doing whatever he can to break free, but he just doesn't always break free.
That's very true. He does a lot of tackle dragging and not a lot of tackle breaking.
Yeah.
So my comp for him, there's not really anybody like this guy in the NFL, and maybe that's for a reason, but I think he's a mix of Jack Besh and Braylon Allen.
Okay,
That's a very weird mix, but I think he has qualities of both.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
I can see it.
That's great. All right, our number 9 is Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. He's 6 foot even, 199 pounds. In 2025, he played 16 games. He had 91 targets, 69 receptions, and 937 receiving yards. Had 13 receiving touchdowns with 13.6 yards per reception with 3 drops. I had him 10, Keenan had him 9, and Carson had him 8.
So the reason that this guy's shooting up boards all around is because he is great after the catch. His missed tackles force per reception, I guess, is an insane 0.39. And I don't compare that to running backs because running backs, they get the ball inside up the gut, so their attempts are different. So to find the best tackle breaker I know to compare his 0.39 to is Deebo Samuel coming out of college with 0.34. So this guy's insane at breaking tackles after the catch. Quick stop and go, and then sharp breaks in his routes and great suddenness to create separation. Snaps his head around for the ball very quickly, ready for Fernando Mendoza to put it on him.
Yeah, Omar Cooper Jr., after the catch, he accelerates so quickly to a top speed that allows him to cruise past a lot of DBs. He's such a smooth runner. At the Combine, he just put up a 4.42, which isn't absolutely blazing, but it's faster than any of us could do.
By far.
I'd say.
But just is such a smooth runner. He's got the explosiveness and quickness that you would love to have in a slot receiver who can turn a short catch into something special. Carson touched on the missed tackles forced per reception. That is absolutely crazy. 27 missed tackles forced on 69 catches in 2025. Sometimes he even breaks tackles as he's stumbling forward, looking like he's going to fall. Sometimes he's just stumbling forward and guys are still falling off of him. He looks like a running back out there in the open field with his contact balance and build. 6'2" or 6'199" is a pretty solid build. And even if he's not breaking the tackle, he's always falling forward for extra yards. He primarily played out wide in 2023 and 2024. That was 87.8% of his snaps, but primarily played in the slot in 2025, 83.3% of his snaps. So I like that he's experienced in both spots. I like receivers that can really play anywhere. I know Omar Cooper Jr. is that guy.
Yeah, I like his build also, and to me, he gains speed as he gets further into the route, which isn't bad, but it's just how he is. Strong and reliable receiver, like they talked about, and I like his body control. I think that he's a good-ish route runner, and kind of by that, he looks slow through his route, but he still wins. His moves are effective, his cuts and jukes are effective, and he doesn't cheat his routes or breaks, which help him get open. I think he's got good ball knowledge simply to help him win those to get open, and I think that he plays pretty smooth and under control too. As far as cons, we'll get into that. Like we talked about, I think he has kind of slow acceleration with his release and breaks. And there's all these also things that going around the internet too, questionable about his run blocking effort. To me, that's partially why he dropped lower for me too. I don't like that there's rumors about that, because in the NFL, if you hear any hard-nosed coaches talk, which is most of the coaches in the NFL, but like the old school guys, not this isn't old school, but like Dan Campbell type guys, like guys that want their players to put forth effort all the time, they're going to want their receivers to block. There's been questions about, George Pickens doing that. There's been questions about whoever you want to say.
Well, especially if you're in the slot.
Especially if you're in the slot, you're going to need a run block. So if there's questions about that, I don't like that because it's so important to some coaches in the NFL. And to me, I'm not a huge fan of his contested catch success for his size and build. I would like it to be a little bit more than it is.
Yeah, back to what you said about the route running. I don't think he's the greatest either. I think he seems to care less about the route running and more about just wanting to get the ball in his hand so he can do his thing. Mm-hmm. His route running is kind of inconsistent at times. It can be less sharp, more rounded, more slowing down to look back at his quarterback when he thinks he's open. Cares more about the destination than the journey to get there. And it's not always about the destination, fellas. Sometimes it's about the journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he mostly relies on his speed to win his routes, is what I saw. Will it be enough against NFL cornerbacks? I kind of doubt it. So I think he needs to get better in his route running, like Cody said.
Yeah, he was using the slot 83% of the time, and as a con, I think he just lacks the speed to play outside, even though he does have that size. He does have sharp cuts to create separation, but I think, like you guys said, he runs his route slow sometimes, or half speed, or he loses speed through his cuts. He's just inconsistent. It seems like sometimes he gets caught after he makes that sharp cut to create the separation, and it closes. But I think as a big slot, he can play into his strengths, and he forces missed tackles with more strength and slickness, I guess, than he does quickness and elusiveness. So he's just stronger than he's elusive. But like I said, as a big slot, I think he can play into that and hopefully still succeed even with NFL tackling.
Comps.
Leslie Chow, who's played by Ken Jeong in The Hangover. Nice. Leslie Chow's Ken Jeong's character in The Hangover. Yeah. Playing against Indiana in 2025 was like waking up in The Hangover movie. You're in an unfamiliar city in a room that's destroyed. There's a tiger in the bathroom. One of you is missing a tooth. You're all in pain. Your friend is missing, and none of you remember anything. And then to make matters worse, Leslie Chow jumps out of your trunk and starts kicking you and beating you while you're down. He's the wild card and the character who can make things go from bad to worse. Because playing Indiana, it's like you're getting beat everywhere. Everything is so bad all around you because Indiana's just so good and they're just hounding you everywhere. And
I love it.
Then to make matters worse, here comes Omar Cooper Jr. and he's just plowing over your defenders.
I love it.
So my comp, I have a longer Parker Washington.
Longer, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
More length,
good.
yeah.
Yes.
Number 8, Zachariah Branch from Georgia. He's 5'9", 177 pounds. In 2025, he played 14 games. He had 93 targets with 81 receptions, 811 receiving yards, 6 receiving touchdowns, 10 yards per reception, 2 drops. Carson had him 9, and Keenan and I both had him 8.
His burst and acceleration off the line of scrimmage and after the catch is insane. Mm-hmm. Maybe the best I've ever seen of any player at any position. It was insane watching his film. Fantastic speed to run by almost any DB. His 40-yard dash wasn't anything absolutely spectacular. It was, hang on, I'm pulling it up real quick.
4.35.
4.35, yeah. But it was still good enough for a player who's 5'9", 177. I was very impressed with just his movement skills, I guess, just to start out. Jolty, an explosive lateral mover before and after the catch. This guy can truly, everybody says, like, he can cut on a dime. This guy can truly cut on a dime. His jump cuts after the catch are impressive. It helps that he's only 177 pounds. Yeah. But he held on to some catches in 2025 after taking shots from defenders nearly immediately, which is important to me because he's going to be in the slot. He's going to be going across the middle. And being a smaller guy, you're going to take some shots, and you need to hold on to that ball, and he did. Great punt and kick returner with 1 touchdown for each in his freshman season at USC in 2023 alone. And maybe he's not the most polished wide receiver, but I want his explosiveness and his unique athletic abilities on my team.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree about his speed. It was very impressive, and Yeah, it's definitely stuck out to me too that he's surprisingly good at contested catches for his size, and I like that all that speed that he has, he doesn't lose it through his cuts and his routes, and he's able to carry it very well. And he just for his size, he plays very tough and strong, and is able to make the most of what size he has.
Yeah, the only other pro I'll add is he's a great return man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that comes with all those attributes you guys named. But to get into the cons, Keen kind of already touched on it. I think his route running needs a lot of work, and I'm worried that if this doesn't get worked on and polished out, then he's going to be limited to strictly a gadget guy. Now, the upside is incredible, and comparing him to a guy like Tez Johnson with a small size, this guy has much more athletic ability, but he's less polished as a receiver. So I think should he work on that, he can make it work. But just in college to kind of show how he was used, he had lots of targets behind the line of scrimmage. His average depth of target was only 3.6, and everyone else we're talking about today is in the 10 to 15 range. So
he had 51 of his 93 targets in 2025 are behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he was used kind of like a gadget guy, and I think that's why he was able to, really showcase his ability. But I think to work in the NFL, he just really needs to develop into an all-around receiver.
Yeah, cons that I had about him, he can get bullied and pushed around if defenders get a hand on him, meaning that they're not always going to be able to, at least not in college at least. But if they get hands on him, he can really get bullied. He takes some big hits and goes flying if a defender hits him head on, which, as we said, he hangs onto the ball, though. But it is a con that he's taking a huge hit. And also, sometimes he runs backwards after the catch because he thinks he's fast enough to loop around defenders, because he usually is in college. But this can turn out to be a pretty dumb decision we've seen a lot of times in the NFL. Any other cons or anything to add before we get into comps? All right, Mooch, the housefly from the G-Force. He's a he's small, annoying to the enemies, and so elusive. Here's what Google Gemini AI overview of Mooch was. Mooch is a vital, high-tech equipped spy that aids the guinea pig team in their mission. He is often used for gathering intelligence and assisting in critical, action-packed moments.
This might be your craziest take yet.
Mooch.
Please continue.
It makes so much sense if you go just watch a little clip of Mooch from G-Force.
Please continue. This
Yeah.
is awesome.
That's it.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Mooch.
This would be crazy.
So I actually had my comp before the unfortunate passing, but I have him as somewhere between a Tyreek Hill and a Rondale Moore.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and I think that's fitting because Tyreek Hill coming out of college was a running back, so he also needed to work on that route running. And then they're just very explosive. Then to compliment one guy, I think he's most similar to a guy like Zay Flowers.
Yep, makes sense. All right, our number 7 consensus ranked here we have is Jeremy Bernard from Alabama. He's 6'1", 206 pounds. Excuse me. In 2025, he played 14 games. He had 102 targets, 64 receptions, 862 receiving yards with 7 receiving touchdowns, and 13.5 yards per reception with only 1 drop. Kian and Carson had him 7, and I had him 6. So, Jeremy Bernard, first to start off, he's got super big hands, which I like in a receiver. Very good size, too. Obviously, 6'1", 206. I like these bigger-bodied receivers. Incredibly dangerous after the catch. Super fun to watch, and, just outright dangerous. Great body control, clean and controlled footwork to go with that dangerous after the catch. I like these receivers, too. This is a guy that can truly have success in every single part of the field, no matter where he lines up, whether it's backfield, swing pass, deep ball, between the hashes, it does not matter. This guy's talented enough to get open and have success anywhere. His acceleration is very quick. His changes of speed and direction in his routes is very efficient. And I like that he has great focus and awareness when he's near the sidelines, meaning that he knows when he's near the sidelines and can stay in bounds. And he's just an overall smooth player. He runs his routes very smooth. He's just a smooth runner downfield. There's a lot of things I really like about this guy, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. First thing that popped off to me was how he can play anywhere. Like you said, slot out wide. He played in the backfield sometimes, gadget guy, whatever. Plays above his height and weight is one of the things I also noticed. He plays bigger than his 6'1", 206 measurement showed. Smooth routes, maintains speed through his route breaks. I don't think he's necessarily super quick and explosive, but he's very smooth through his route and carries his speed well. Sure hands, 1 drop on 64 receptions, and he's good after the catch as well. 0.27 missed tackles forced per reception, which is pretty darn good, and then good toughness as well after the catch.
Yeah, he's always looking for that yards after catch, as you guys have said. I think he has enough of the speed, quickness, and acceleration. I'm not concerned about any of it. He ran a 4.48. That's fine for Jeremy Bernard. That's borderline great because I didn't think I honestly thought he was going to be in the 4.5s. And 4.4, anything is good for Jeremy Bernard. The drops thing is actually crazy whenever you compare him to all of the rest of these receivers, especially the top ones that we're going to talk about here. Only 4 drops on 232 career targets. That is a 2.5% drop rate. He's got. Wow. You're going to throw him 100 balls, and he's only going to drop 2.5. But
he'll fumble one.
Yes, but he also, as you guys said about lining up in the backfield, he lined up in the backfield for 41 snaps, and he took 18 carries for 101 rush yards. That's 5.6 yards per carry, 2 rush touchdowns in 2025. In his college career, he's played 46.1% of his snaps in the slot and 51.6% of his snaps out wide. He can really play anywhere, like you guys said, and he feels like a guy. What I kept thinking while I was watching him is he feels like
ooh, easy.
Jeremy over here. Snotty. He feels like a guy who we definitely be speaking more highly of if he got a chance to play a season at Ohio State. Like the smoothness and efficiency in his routes and movements really remind me of Ohio State wide receivers that we've seen, especially coming out of Ohio State recently. I was like, man, this guy should be like there with Chris Olave and JSN and like these guys who are propped up because Ohio State is one of the wide receiver universities, and Jeremy Bernard had to play with Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe. So
yes,
I really, really like Jeremy Bernard, and I think that he is undervalued in this class because everybody wants to talk about Denzel Boston and Concepcion and Carnell Tate and all those guys, Mekhi Lemon, and nobody's talking about Bernard, and I think it's disrespectful.
And speaking of the schools, it's good to see that he overcame Ryan Williams to earn all these targets at Alabama, as Ryan Williams as a freshman was like
the guy.
Yeah, the guy. He was a stud, and to earn his way up to the top target for Ty Simpson was it shows that he has the ability and the trust of the team as well.
Yeah, and as for cons, obviously, he's not a freak athlete who's going to give you crazy plays as an elite wide receiver 1. You shouldn't be drafting Jeremy Bernard as your wide receiver 1. He's just going to be like a really, really good wide receiver 2, I feel like. He's not really a leaper or fighter for jump balls. He's not really a contested catch guy. He's also never had more than 64 receptions or 862 receiving yards in a single season in his college career, but I really think this guy's going to be a better pro. And I know that a lot of these guys have not had crazy high seasons, but now that we're getting into the more highly thought of wide receivers, it is important to mention, I guess, that he hasn't had a ton of like a great production season where it's like 1,000 yards. He popped off. But I'm really just pulling hairs here because I think Jeremy Bernard is going to be a good NFL receiver.
Splitting hairs, but yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. I thought that was wrong.
You touched on his contested catches. I said he plays above his height and weight, but I think that kind of goes out the window in contested catches for whatever reason, because I saw the same thing. I don't know if that's because he's lacking focus or toughness or both, but 36% contested catch rate, 5 of 14, is not good. Most of these guys are around 50%. The good ones are 60% or even higher, and he's down to 36. That's just not his game, I guess. You mentioned athleticism. I think he lacks top speed. I think he's really good before the top speed, but to run away from guys may be a struggle, and then his hips just look kind of tight, and I think that may be because he's so smooth through his route. He's not like a stop-and-go kind of guy. He's more of a carry speed smooth, so maybe that's why the hips look tight to me, but nothing I'm concerned about.
Comps.
The yeast in a homemade bread.
Oh, boy.
Let me explain.
All right, yeah.
When it comes to the overall flavor and luster of a freshly baked homemade bread,
delicious.
Nobody is quick to give the yeast credit. But the yeast quietly does the dirty work and literally raises.
Oh,
Okay.
I think without this yeast in 2025, the bread, Alabama, would have never risen to the level that it did.
very
That's-
good.
that is very
very
Pretty
good.
poetic,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Very
great.
good, yes. My comp is true even down to the height and weight, both 6'1" at the combine. 204 pounds versus 206. That is Rashee Rice.
Oh,
I like it.
okay.
My comp, the Chris Godwin to your Mike Evans.
Oh,
Just more athletic.
That's good.
Okay.
That's
Maybe.
good too.
Maybe just how he plays.
Chris Godwin. Oh, I can.
Well, I
definitely
just
see
mean the pairing, you know?
No,
He's not going to be your one.
that. Oh,
He's
yeah.
not going to be your contested catch guy. That's Mike
I think he
Evans.
does kind of play like Chris Godwin.
could-
though.
yeah.
Chris
Yeah.
Godwin is
Yeah,
a
I
good
could.
comp.
That was off the cuff.
Nice.
Our number 6, Denzel Boston out of Washington. He's 6'4", 212 pounds. In 2025, he played 12 games. He had 95 targets, 62 receptions, 881 receiving yards, 11 receiving touchdowns, 14.2 yards per reception, and 2 drops. Kean and Carson both had him 6, and I had him up at my 3. Obviously, big body wide receiver. I like that about him. I like that about a lot of the receivers. I like his concentration also. Good body control and strength for adjusting to passes that are off body, and good size and strength for jump balls. Also, I thought that was a really big bonus about him. Very strong hands. He plays like he's a natural hands catcher, like off body. Like I talked about, a good route runner. He can get you some yak if you need it. He's not going to be the best out there, but he can definitely do it. And to finish it off, he's just a true red zone threat. Like, he had tons of touchdown production in college, and that's sometimes in the NFL you just need that. Like, if you got a guy with a nose for the red zone, you're going to give it to him and he's going to win. Like, that's a true weapon on a team.
Yeah, this guy is definitely a big body receiver, and for that size, he has great acceleration and agility. With that big body, makes him a great contested catch option with a large catch radius. Previously talked about contested catch rate. This guy, 77% contested catch rate. 10 of 13 is insane. And then part of that greatness in contested catches could be because he has very strong play strength. I think he plays at or even maybe above his already huge size.
Yeah. I like his speed. To go on top of that, he looks like he looks like a gazelle on go routes if he can get the ball in open space.
Yeah.
He seemingly keeps accelerating as long as he has a space to sprint in a straight line. Like, it's like this guy just keeps getting faster and faster and pulling away. As Cody said, the end zone threat thing is real. He's gonna use that at the NFL level, just like Ted McMillan. We saw that a little bit with him. Bryce Young would just kind of throw it up to him, not necessarily even near the end zone all the time, but he's going to be a guy that quarterbacks are going to look to whenever plays are breaking down. And also another pro, he's got some punt return experience. He had 1 punt return touchdown in 2025. I thought it was weird that he was even returning punts.
Yeah.
Being their best receiver. But and he's 6'4", but to each their own. On to the cons, his lateral cuts seem kind of soft because he's always moving so upright and forward with his frame, which kind of expected for his size, but he is like he carries good speed with him, so I don't really care about that as much. But it does bother me a little bit with taller receivers. He can't get stopped on his routes as quickly. Not the best at chopping his steps once he's up to his speed because he's taller. And he feels like he relies on his height and speed too much, in my opinion, instead of focusing on sharpening his routes to gain more separation. That's just something that I wonder if it's going to cause a problem in the NFL if he needs to improve on that route running.
I agree with everything you just said. The only thing I'd add is just I think he lacks the top speed, and he's not anything super special after the catch.
Yeah, I agree. I saw exactly what you did about he just seems like he plays tall through his route breaks and his moves, which obviously will slow you down. And, I made that note, too, that he can be somewhat slow out of those breaks, and that worries me because obviously NFL defensive backs are much faster than college. Comps.
A perfectly cooked spaghetti noodle.
Yes.
All right, we're getting a little better now.
Yeah, this is great.
He's long, tall, skinny, sticks to the wall just like the football sticks to his hands in jump ball situations. Yet also still slippery around the other noodles, just like him after the catch sometimes.
I like it.
I think I retract my previous statement. I like the yeast better.
The yeast was
Oh, it was right on
Great,
point. That
yeah,
was like
that was-
poetic.
Yeah, it was, yeah. My comp, Michael Pittman Jr.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
good one.
good.
Yep.
Speed, Height, contested catches. Not a lot of lateral ability.
Yeah.
Very true. Moving into our top 5 Draft Brothers consensus ranks here. We got number 5, KC Concepcion from Texas. 6 foot even, 196 pounds. In 2025, he played 13 games. He had 101 targets and 61 receptions for 919 receiving yards and 9 receiving touchdowns. He had 15.1 yards per reception with 7 drops. I had him 7. Carson had him 4, and Kean had him 3.
KC. I
KC.
love watching his footwork, man. I think he's efficient, quick, decisive after the catch. He sees a lane and he trusts his legs to shoot him through. The quick feet and fakes of his release package at the line of scrimmage are just fun to watch for me. Less funny business or trying to do too much than your usual gadget guy, too. I kind of hate that this guy sometimes gets labeled as a gadget guy. Like his whole career, that's kind of been what he's been. And now this past year, they started to use him more, like actually as a receiver, and I thought he was good. Quick and fast with great acceleration. He plays with a confidence in his athletic ability where all of his movements look calculated based on what he knows he can do and what he knows and who he knows he can beat. As soon as the ball gets into his hands, he flips a switch and he's aware of what he wants to do, where he wants to go, and he seemingly grabs another gear. He played primarily in the slot in 2023 and 2024 at NC State, 87.3%. But he played primarily out wide in 2025 at Texas A&M for 65.3% of his time. He can really line up anywhere, including running back. He has handled 70 rushing attempts at 6.2 yards per carry over his college career. Again, the gadget guy thing, it's obviously he can do that. He's also a great punt returner, 2 touchdowns and an average of 18.2 yards per return off a punt in 2025. 18.2 yards per punt return? That's insane.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And he's also, again, I think he's more polished than you'd expect from a guy who would fit into the gadget guy category. So I want to break the stigma, man. Stop calling KC a gadget guy. I think he's more than that.
Totally agree with everything he said. A couple things I'll just add. Great suddenness in his routes to create separation, and he puts corners in blunders sometimes. It's great to see. In the short area, he's very quick. Great grab and go ability after the catch. And then after that, he's going to make some guys miss, maintain his balance, and even run through some tackle attempts. 0.23 missed tackles forced per reception is pretty good. And for his size, playing on the outside at 6 foot, 200 pounds, you're a little bit undersized, but he's a great contested catch target. 10 of 15 for a 67% contested catch rate is very good. Good ball tracking downfield as well.
Agree. Moving into cons here, he is a touch smaller, like Carson just said, so that has to be a little bit of a con to play outside. And I'm afraid that he might be limited to short passes and then gaining yak. Like that's a little bit of a scary thing to see how that's going to be handled in the NFL and what he's going to be given the opportunity to do. So very tough to guess. And to me, it's not. Obviously doesn't have like super home run down the field speed, and I think that his routes can get sloppy from time to time and maybe only one speed. I think he can maybe work on improving that change of speed to kind of throw off defenders a little better.
No, yeah, I saw that too. He can make sharp cuts. He shows this after the catch, but sometimes he rounds the corners on his routes. He just trusts his athletic ability to help him win sometimes. He's going to have to sharpen those routes, like you said, if he wants to prove that he's more than just a gadget guy in the NFL. He's also had 19 drops and a career 9.3% drop percentage over his college career, which is pretty darn high. 1 out of every 10 passes you throw at him, he's going to drop it, which is pretty not good. Yeah. And, yeah, he's mostly used on short routes to get the ball in his hands quickly for yards after the catch. Sometimes screens, swing passes, short curls where he didn't really have to work to get open. And his, like I said, this year was his first year he was actually used more as a real wide receiver because 2023, 8.5 average depth of target. 2024, 6.9, and this year actually 12.3, where he basically doubled his average depth of target, where he was actually being used as a wide receiver, but there are still a lot of areas he needs to clean up.
I'm really surprised by the 6 foot 196 because I thought he looked much smaller, and this worried me as to if teams are going to limit him to just playing in the slot. And then I think it's hard for me to tell. I can't tell if he lacks top end speed or what's going on, but it seems like sometimes he struggles to run away from guys, and then something that you just already touched on. This season alone, over a 10% drop rate. I think that may be because he's focused too much on the quick grab and go. He gets his head around before the ball's even in his hands. He's just looking for that yak.
Concentration things.
Yeah.
Comps.
This one's normal, but it's a guy who I really like, who was getting a lot of questions as to if he can do wide receiver things coming out of college, and has kind of really proved himself. At times, he still drops the ball, so that's why this comp is really good. I had him as Zay Flowers.
Oh, okay.
He can do all that yards after catch stuff, super quick in the short area, and sometimes he just has stupid drops in the biggest of moments for the Ravens.
I have a similar comp to that. My comp, stupid drops, good in the short areas, very quick. Deontay Johnson.
Oh,
His play style also reminded me a lot of a Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Just kind of his mannerisms and his play style. Jumps high, big jumper for the big balls, puts his body on the line. Jalen Waddle there.
yep. Moving to our number 4, we had Elijah Surratt from Indiana, 6'2.5", 210 pounds in 2025. He played 14 games. He had 87 targets with 64 receptions and 824 receiving yards. Had 15 receiving touchdowns with 12.9 yards per reception, and he had 3 drops. Carson had him 5, and Keen and I both had him 4. So I will get us started with Surratt here. Good, very good build, good size, large hands. I love that he gives every play his best effort, and that's very clear. Just always 100% full throttle, no matter what. Good contested catcher. He has good body control and strength. He really excels in the first and second level of the field as like a possession type receiver, which I think is good. Every team needs one of those, and he had also, to add to that, obviously on this Indiana team, they went undefeated, but he was a big part of that. He had a lot of success against good competition, like Oregon, for example. He torched them the couple times that they played them.
Yeah.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but he had a lot of yards and touchdowns.
Over the 2 games combined, he put up 15 receptions on 19 targets for 196 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah,
It was
torched.
fun to watch.
Yeah. I like his route running, and that in that route running, he's able to disguise what he's doing. There's a lot of guys that can't really do that, and he clearly excels in this area too. And he's another guy that's very smart around the boundary lines, around the sidelines. He's able to keep his body in and keep his body in control to even gain a few extra yards to turn it upfield and keep going. And another guy here that's just simply tough to bring down after the catch is always, like I said, playing as hard as he can, so he's not going to go down easy.
Yeah, he's. We'll start there with the yards after catch stuff. He's often able to shake some arm tackles after the catch because he stays stiff and upright. Pause.
Always good.
Always good, baby. Onto the contested catch thing that you said. Very good contested catch guy. Over his college career, he's had 94 contested catch opportunities. It's like, wow, that's a lot. But he's come down with 54 of them. That's 57.4% catch rate. That's insane for somebody who's just 6'2.5". And just a fighter like he is. But I love his experience. I love that experience. He plays like a savvy vet who knows how to win with the abilities that he has. He never had a college season with less than 672 receiving yards. And that was his freshman season at St. Francis University, which is a tiny D1 school. Or he never even had less than 8 receiving touchdowns per year. That's insane. His release off the line of scrimmage, very forward pushing, like gets the cornerback on his heels, then skirts right on past him. Sharp cuts in his routes. He cuts back toward the ball and hard on curls and back shoulder throws, comebacks. He's great at gaining separation. This guy is a technician. I feel confident in him to win every single route, which is why I was so aggravating to watch him as an Oregon Ducks fan, because I knew that Mendoza was going to put it on him every single time and Surratt was going to be open. His nickname is Waffle House, and it makes so much sense. This guy just does everything right, and he's been doing everything right for years, and I refuse to believe that he will not be good in the NFL, and this guy needs to be ranked higher on everybody's board because this is driving me crazy.
Boom.
Elijah Surratt is so good.
Boom.
Yeah. I love separators,
Yeah.
and Elijah Surratt is a separator. He has very hard, very crisp breaks in his routes to create that separation, and that is my absolute favorite thing after a receiver. It doesn't matter how good you are after the catch if you can't create separation and get the ball in your hands.
True.
You guys already touched on it, but plays very hard, great play strength, and then just a little bit on that contested catching. Him and Fernando Mendoza had that back shoulder ball dialed down, and that'll translate directly to the NFL because you see NFL corners get burnt on that all the time. It's hard when you have that late of hands and that late of shoulder turn to prevent that. So, and then for the stat lovers out there, third best PFF grade in the class.
Wow. This guy's, in his 4 years of college, this guy's never had a receiving grade lower than 81.5.
Pretty good.
From his freshman season on. That's
pretty
insane.
Good.
Yeah, he's so damn good.
Yeah. Cons.
Cons or comps?
Cons.
Oh, yeah, cons. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I guess I
start?
haven't mentioned cons yet. The only con that I have for him is that he's not an elite athlete. Speed is average, and he's honestly not very quick either.
True.
Lateral quickness is not his game either, and he's not a great jumper who's going to moss defensive backs. He's just a fighter. Just a fighter.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Doesn't have the top end speed to go dominate deep throws down the field, but like Keenan said, it's not his game. I think with all that, to go with that not really great quickness and everything, I think that's due to his hips just seeming tight, like they aren't loose through his route or anything, and just kind of simply hard to move, it looks like, which could possibly result in him catching it more off body because he can't get his hips around to get it on his body. Yeah, that's really all I saw, though.
You guys said it well. Comps.
He's an Amazon delivery driver. This dude always delivers. Need to play now? He will do that. Need to play in 3 to 5 business days? He can do that too. Need to play to come all the way from China and still be good quality? He can probably do that too.
I love that.
That's good. My comp, savvy vet, great separation. Not a great athlete, but always separating. Seems to just know how to win in the big games. Well, never been in a big game. But when you need a third down conversion, he will be the guy, and that is Keenan Allen.
Oh,
hell yeah. That's good.
That's a good one.
That is really good.
Yep. Moving to our top three here. At third, we have Mekhi Lemon from USC. He's 5'11", 192 pounds. In 2025, he played 12 games. He had 109 targets, 79 receptions, 1,156 receiving yards with 11 receiving touchdowns at 14.6 yards per reception. And he had 2 drops. Keen had him 5. Carson and I both had him 2.
Yeah, Mekhi Lemon. Smooth route runner and mover in general. Just smooth guy. Not to get into the cons too quickly, but he uses more savviness and timing in his routes than he does quickness. And I think that he is so intelligent in his route running that he knows how to win without having to be athletic. And he's just so smart between the tackles, similar to my comp, that I think this will translate to the NFL. So for his smaller size, he seems well built. He seems like a very thick guy. Possesses good physicality and toughness, and he's surprisingly good contested catcher because of this size and toughness. Pretty good catch radius and very, very strong hands. 10 of 15 in contested catches for a 67% contested catch rate. Very good, and then surprisingly good after the catch because of this physicality as well. Similar to a running back with great contact balance after he gets the ball and tackle breaking ability. 0.27 missed tackles forced per reception. And one may even say that he can turn lemons into lemonade. Maybe even call him Mekhi Lemonade.
Oh, I'm down to call him that.
Yes, this guy ain't no lemon, baby. He ain't no lemon. Carson said it really well. I agree with pretty much everything you said. Just really stood out to me that this dude's just an angry runner with the ball. He's just electric with the ball in his hands. I love his yak ability with all that, and just very efficient and effective in the short to mid-length area of the field. That's where his game is.
Yeah, after the catch, he's strong. He's really sturdy build. 5'11", 192 doesn't sound all that sturdy, but this guy
he uses all of it.
He uses all of it. Yes, he plays stronger than his size implies. Entails? Is entails the right word? Entails?
Sure.
I would say no.
Size entails.
I'd say no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, definitely not, but sure.
But I think whenever you get a zone coverage, which is what a lot of the NFL runs, what a lot of defenses run in general in college as well, this guy is so smart at just finding the open space and making himself easily available for his quarterback. It's something that Carson liked to say about Ladd McConkey a couple years ago is he's like quarterback's best friend. And I always thought, back then I wasn't a Ladd McConkey guy, and I'm like, man, that just sounds so disrespectful toward him. It's like this guy's just waiting there for the quarterback to find him. But honestly, it's it's a real skill. And I think that Mekhi Lemon already has it. I think that maybe it comes with playing at USC, with having these quarterbacks like a Caleb Williams, now a Jaden Maiava. These guys are playmakers, and sometimes they get out of structure, and they need a guy who's just going to be open and knows where to be open for the quarterback to find that passing lane to him. And Mekhi Lemon was one of those guys who's really good at it. Also has big pro for him. I mean, he's not really going to need it because he's a first-round wide receiver, but he's got kick and punt return experience. And yeah, the thing that really just blew me away again was just the high IQ. I think he's got a high IQ. Cons, where he's kind of a sour lemon. I think he's going to be limited to the slot in the NFL. That's not a big con, but like he's not going to be a very multiple receiver. He's mostly used on short routes to get the ball in his hands quickly for yards after the catch. Sometimes screens, swing passes, short curls where he didn't really have to work to get open. His routes, in my opinion, I don't think his routes are super carved out. And maybe that comes with playing at USC where you know that Maiava's going to be sprinting around like crazy behind you, and you need to keep an eye on him at least sometimes. But I don't think he has the most powerful of cuts to change directions. He slows himself to make cuts with small decelerating steps that may not create as much separation in the NFL. And somehow, I don't know why I put this in the cons, but somehow he won all those multiple contested catches by barely jumping or not jumping at all. It's like he's just got great concentration to follow the arc of the ball and not worry about the defenders around him. But I think most of those passes get tipped or intercepted in the NFL before they ever reach his hands. So he's probably not going to be a contested catch guy in the NFL, which that's not surprising to say that, being that he is a smaller receiver, is probably going to be in the slot. And I don't think he really has the long speed to stack a corner and win go routes in the NFL. Agreed. But all those are pretty ticky-tacky cons for one of the better receivers in this class. I just was left a little bit more sour on Mekhi Lemon because, sorry.
Yeah, I agree that he's going to be strictly a slot receiver. And on top of that, I just think he's not very bursty, which you do love to see in a slot receiver, and he doesn't really have any great athletic abilities. But just to touch on that contested catching, I think that he's not a downfield contested catcher, but I think being a guy similar to Elijah Surratt that we just talked about, he's going to be a guy that's a contested catcher in the aspect that third down across the middle, a guy throw between two linebackers and get smashed. I think this is a guy with a very reliable set of hands that can just kind of funnel in the ball and come down with it somehow in the tight areas. Just not a jump ball contested catch receiver, more of a tight area, close quarters contested catch receiver.
Like he can catch the ball while a hydraulic press is closing on him.
Yes.
Yep.
Or like on Wipeout, whenever they're going across the wall and hanging, and then like, boom, punched in the face, punch. Yeah. I can see that. I get that now. Yeah.
Nothing to add. Comps.
Wan'Dale Robinson is what I put for him.
Okay.
I think that he's going to be limited whenever it comes to further down the field routes. Like anything past 10, 15 yards, I don't think he's going to be as successful, but I think that in the short area he can be very successful. And we saw Wan'Dale Robinson go off this year after Malik Neighbors went down and he went over 1,000 yards. So Wan'Dale Robinson, I don't mean for it to be like a disrespectful thing, but I think that that's kind of what he's going to be in the NFL.
My comp, probably the obvious one. Smooth route runner, more intelligent in his routes to settle in his zone than win against man, but he's shown that even getting drafted low, you can still be the go-to guy in the NFL. That is his USC predecessor, Amon-Ra St. Brown, although Mekhi Lemon is stronger and better after the catch.
Sure.
I think I saw that too. I think everybody's seeing that. I saw that so much. Maybe it's because they went to the same school.
Yeah,
like Lance Zierlein put that here too, and it makes so much sense. I don't know if he's there as a route runner yet. And not that he can't get there, but that's, I guess, why I didn't go there.
Sure. Number 2, we have Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. He is 6'2", 203 pounds. In 2025, he played 9 games. He had 97 targets with 61 receptions. He has 711 receiving yards with 8 receiving touchdowns at 11.7 yards per reception, and he had 3 drops to add to it. I had him at 5. Kean had him at 2. Carson had him at 1.
Yeah, my wide receiver 1, Jordan Tyson. I love this guy. He can play out wide or in the slot. Although I think he would be at his best in the slot. Very shifty, quick start and stop. I love separators. This guy has those quick, snappy routes. Great at creating separation with the instant plant the foot in the ground and explode off to separate, grab and go ability. Grabs the ball and quickly gets into his yak. And then even downfield, he has the good high point ability and body control for those sideline grabs or the contested catches or even mossing guys.
Yeah, this guy plays with fire and energy. To kind of sum up everything that you just said there, you can tell that he gives every play his all, which is why he gets hurt sometimes.
Yeah,
Which is what
more
Cody's
than
gonna
sometimes.
More than sometimes, yeah. He's just great at gaining yards after the catch. Anytime you got fire and energy, that guy can usually gain yards after the catch, and Jordan Tyson can. He's got nice speed, too, to get into the open field. Good size as well to go along with that. Not that increases his durability, obviously, but I like the size. Quick and explosive, both before and after the catch. He just takes off with such juice and then cuts and reaccelerates with more of that same juice. He never runs out of the juice, man. It's tough for cornerbacks to stay close to him. And whenever he jumps like he has moon shoes. And I was really bummed that he didn't do anything at the Combine, probably because he was hurt.
Wow.
Wait, did he?
No.
No, he didn't do anything. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's guaranteed to be a first-round pick anyways. But also, big pro for him. I mean, not maybe a big pro, but I loved it. He's some of the craziest plays I've ever seen from a wide receiver. And it's not even like the greatest plays, but literally the craziest plays. Like, how the hell did that just happen? It makes for great TV, and I love it.
Sure.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And I want to root for this guy because I feel like I need to watch him every chance that I can. He plays like a dog on cocaine.
Is that your comp?
No.
Yeah, the only thing I want to add, because I agree with what you guys said, but I just want to add that I like that he's seemingly able to find open space on the field easily and exploit it. Like, he's going to make the most of it there. So we'll dive right into the cons. To me, he's lacking some yak ability and or strength with the ball in his hands. There was some questionable stuff there that I wasn't super happy about, and of course the extensive injury history that everyone knows about. But for the details, in 2022 at Colorado, he had that big knee injury that was a multi-ligament, I think you'd call it. Doctors, he tore his ACL, MCL, and PCL.
And one ligament left there.
Yeah, only one out of four ain't good. And then in 2024 at Arizona State, late in the season, he broke his collarbone, and then in 2025 at Arizona State here, he missed a couple games. Not a couple. He had missed 4 games or so due to a hamstring injury during the later part of the season. So obviously, that's a big con to a lot of people. It's a big con to me as well. But hopefully, he can stop doing that.
Drink more milk.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the con that I saw just watching his film, he has a thin frame for sure, and he seems much smaller than his listed height and weight. He's listed at 203.
Yeah.
6'2", 203 for reference. Jamar Chase, coming out of college, was 6 foot 201. And
Yeah.
Jamar Chase seems much thicker and much more like he can take a hit. This guy kind of concerns me for that, especially with the injury history, and I think that this kind of plays into him having some weak play strength at times. I think he can get bullied by some bigger corners, or if he isn't always, Keenan said he's always on fire, or he's always playing with fire. I think that if he runs out of gasoline or he's grabbing the next cup, he takes a little bit of a play off, just kind of, he's gonna get bullied a little bit. If he's not the initiator in the hand fight, I think he's gonna lose. I think he needs to constantly be going and going and going. Yak ability, I would say not great. I think that is due to his smaller size and his weaker play strength. I think anytime the defenders get hands on him, he's probably going down. Routes seem to have some extra movements and wasted energy. Seems like he does too much wiggling and not enough winning. And then
like that.
seems to just be lacking top end speed as well. And in the guy like this is my wide receiver one, I want him to be a burner, and I just don't know if Jordan Tyson is that.
My main con for him, I guess, watching him with Carnell Tate. I had Carnell Tate 1, Jordan Tyson 2. When comparing him to Carnell Tate to figure out who the wide receiver 1 in this class is, Tyson clearly plays with so much less discipline. Tate's routes are smooth and crisp. Tyson's routes are jaggedy, looking back at his quarterback, which causes him to slow down at random points. Tyson looks like he's playing backyard football compared to Tate. Tyson is playing Hungry Hungry Hippos, and Tate is playing chess. He plays Tyson, that is, like he doesn't always have a plan, especially after the catch. Sometimes it's like once the ball is in his hands, he's hitting all the buttons on the controller and seeing what's going to work. He just makes things so hard for himself. Sometimes he loops around backwards once he catches the ball. If he thinks the defender's close behind him, then he's on. He's not. But sometimes the defender's nowhere around him. He just loops around.
Yep.
He's maybe the king of unnecessary jumping catches.
Yes.
Every play of his just looks exhausting. And, so I can see why he gets hurt so much. It's like this guy's he could probably drink a full Gatorade cooler himself throughout this game.
Probably likes that pickle flavor too.
Oh, he probably
yeah.
does. He's probably a freak.
Yeah.
On to comps?
Yes.
All right, this one I'm really proud of.
Here we go.
Brings me back to my roots, baby.
Yes.
He's an NFL Street video game character in real life.
Oh, yes.
Jordan Tyson has the movement mechanics of the NFL Street video games. The
Classic.
insanely high leaps for catches, the burst once he catches the ball, the big hits when he gets tackled, the celebrations and talking at all the end of the plays. I feel like maybe he could jump off a wall and catch a ball one-handed like players can in the video games. And then he just gets flattened and lands hard on his back, and he's out for breaking like 100 bones in his body.
Yes. I love that one.
And mine goes right along with that. The crazy plays, the insane catches that are almost borderline boneheaded at times, doing too much, lacking discipline in his routes. But man, he is incredible at being a wide receiver. And if you can just tame this dog, he could be a wide receiver one in the NFL. And that is a smaller George Pickens. Even though he is 6 pounds heavier than George Pickens, he looks way smaller. And I think that with that George Pickens, you get a touch of CeeDee Lamb and Jordan Tyson. I think that comes with the ability of being slightly better in the slot and not being a true outside receiver. I think that CeeDee Lamb I think that George Pickens is a little too haywire for Jordan Tyson, and that's where the CeeDee Lamb comes in as kind of he has some polished routes at times, but then he lets the George get the best of him at other times. So
Yeah.
George.
Agreed.
yeah.
Our number one Draft Brothers consensus overall rank wide receiver here. We got Carnell Tate from Ohio State. 6'2", 191 pounds. In 2025, he played 11 games. He had 66 targets with 51 receptions, 875 receiving yards with 9 receiving touchdowns. He had 17.2 yards per reception with 0 drops. And Carson item 3, Kian and I both had him at 1.
Yeah, let's talk about his frame first.
Yep.
He's a long wide receiver who uses his length well. 6'2", 192.
Looks bigger though.
Yeah, he looks bigger. His arms are 31 3/4 inches. That's
Solid.
They're pretty solid for his size. His hands are 10 1/4 inches, which is
Large.
very good.
I don't know how he's 12 pounds lighter than Jordan Tyson.
I don't know.
I would guess he's 12 pounds heavier.
I mean,
Looks like
Tate
it.
Tate did run at the combine. It wasn't a great run, but Tyson did not. And sometimes if they know they're not going to run, they can just bulk up to get to the weight that they want.
That would make sense then.
Tate, he kind of had to stay light because I got to run as fast as I can, and it didn't exactly work as well. But that's not one of his big pros. But his big pros are with these big hands, the good length. He went 12 of 14 on contested catches in 2025. Just an excellent hands catcher. You guys touched on the 0 drops.
Yep.
Many big catches outside of his frame, and he makes it look pretty easy. Long striding, smooth speed that looks pretty good on deep routes like posts and deep crossers, but he's not winning with speed. It's more of just like a smoothness that, like I said, whenever we were talking about Jeremy Bernard, these Ohio State receivers, like, they run with such smooth routes. Like, their wide receiver coach or offensive coordinator, or I don't know what Brian Hartline is. I think he's their OC, but former NFL receiver, and
Yeah.
I'm sure he coaches them up very, very well. I think his acceleration is fine for his size. He's no real serious, like, lagging build-up period to get to his top speed. This is all not to say that, like, his speed is great, but I think it's smooth.
Yeah.
And he doesn't baby the gas when the light turns green, but also he doesn't floor it to slam you back in your seat. It's just a regular acceleration in a car that's naturally fast coming from the factory. I'll further explain this later. He's really good at coming back to the ball to make catches, especially during scramble drills. He's got sharp and dramatic cuts on his routes with good head fakes. He looks polished despite his relatively little college production for maybe the wide receiver one in his draft class. But overall, I was pleased with just the smoothness that I've come to expect from Ohio State receivers like Tate.
Yeah, you're right. He fits the bill there. Large catch radius, obviously, with his long arms and tall frame. Just a good combination of timing, hands, concentration, and strength to have all that contested catch success. Just a reliable and smart Ohio State receiver, like we've come to know here, in especially the recent years, but for a long time. And just an overall smart route runner. But yeah, Kean said it really well.
Sounded like a broken record here, but because of this Ohio State reputation, you almost have to bump them up a spot just for that. It seems like the game's in half speed for these guys, and they can just jog, and they have no worries in the world. They know that they're going to win. This guy's ball skills are insane. Yeah. Best of the class, I'd say. He's got very strong and soft hands, kind of like a baby's bottom.
Yes.
Amazing catch radius, 86% contested catch rate, like you said, Kian. Tracks the ball very well, works back to the ball. Then his routes are even smooth, even a little snappy, I would say.
Yep. Yeah. Cons.
Yeah, I would say his yak ability is average or below average.
Yep.
And like I said, as a wide receiver one, you'd like something after the catch. But I don't think we have a lot with that, either out of Cardinal Tate or Jordan Tyson this year. He lacks top-end speed, I feel. He's not a great athlete. That's not how he wins. He wins more with the contested catches and ball skills, which does concern me because I love separators, and I don't know that Cardinal Tate is a separator, and I think that may give him some struggle. He's never had to operate as the alpha wide receiver at Ohio State either. It seems like we say this all year, but I mean, every year we're always like Ohio State receivers. He's never had to work as the one because there's so many there. You know, he's worked with Emeka Ibuka, Jeremiah Smith, etc. But I don't know if we can use that against him because broken record Ohio State receiver. And then Kean, you briefly touched on it. He's never had 1,000 yards in any of his football careers, high school included. Which can be a little concerning, but broken record again. Ohio State receiver, so much competition. It's hard to use these things against them. But as the number one receiver, I'm just digging for anything here because you have to take these guys. You have to treat them differently when you're scouting them.
Yeah, he's never had a season to go more into that. Not only he never had a season over 875 receiving yards. He's never had a season with more than 67 targets.
It's crazy.
Or 52 catches.
That's insane.
For a possible wide receiver one in his class, you got to say at least a little bit concerning. Like, what's this guy how's he gonna hold up over a 17-game season where we want to be throwing him the ball like maybe 150 times if we're drafting him to be our wide receiver one? He doesn't offer much of any yak ability. Before the catch looks easy breezy for him. After the catch, it looks like the ball weighs him down. It's like the ball weighs 20 pounds and he gets slower and he can't move. And does he have the flash and ability to take over a game like an NFL wide receiver one? Probably not, is what I would say. I think most of these guys in this class are like, you're going to get some really good wide receiver twos out of them. Maybe wide receiver one in a pinch, but there's no just elite guys in this class. There's a lot of depth.
Agreed. Comps.
He's a 2008 Dodge Charger RT.
Ooh.
Isn't even close to one of the greatest muscle cars we've ever seen. And doesn't even really look like a high-performance car. It's a long...
He's a disgrace to the name.
It's a long, rounded sedan that looks like something a cool mom might like. But this car is not your average daily driver. The Dodge Charger RT, which means road/track for all those
fancy
non-motor knowers. It comes with a 5.7-liter Hemi V8 that takes this cool mom car and turns it into a machine that generates buzz with a nice 0 to 60 time of about 5 seconds. So while this car may not look that cool or be categorized with supercars in the slightest, it's still a solid car that the gearheads have realized should not be overshadowed. Makes sense?
That's very
yes,
good.
that's very
Makes
good.
a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
You're a big car guy.
Big car.
Yeah.
Makes
Poetic.
sense.
So my comp goes along with all these things. Amazing ball skills. In college, this is actually a guy that we scouted, so we all have the knowledge of what he was like coming out of school. I see him very similarly. Contested catches, he thrived. I had the same concerns about not creating separation on his own, but man, the ball skills and the contested catches were too good. He was too smooth a receiver, too consistent. And that is Roma Dunze, but slightly smaller. I think that he's going to, like I said, have that same struggle with separating. I don't know if he can be the true one, like Roma Dunze is struggling with on the Bears. He's getting shouted by DJ Moore. Now Luther Burden is taking over. I just don't know if he has that horsepower to take over the one spot, but man, he could be a good 2, just like Keane said.
Well said. Special Draft Brothers honorable mentions.
Go ahead, Cody. You can start.
Okay, yeah, I gotta, of course, talk about Chris Brazel here. We didn't talk about him at all, and I don't even know where he's at in the consensus rankings, but
Pretty high. Higher than we have him.
but he's up there. I have him at my number 9 ranked receiver here. He's got a really large frame and length for a very big catch radius. He's a good route runner who is able to find the soft spot of the defense, which is pretty important when you can kind of have that feel for the game. He carries speeds through his cuts well, and he's got a pretty good contested catch ability also. He's a long strider. He strides out to gain speed downfield, and also something unique for a large frame guy. I think that he gets nice and low in his cuts and his breaks, at least for his size, comparatively to some of these guys that we talked about that play tall. And I like that he can also be effective between the hashes also. He's not just a long downfield sideline specialist. He can have success in the middle area of the field. And to add to it, to finish it off, he even had success against good competition like Georgia out there. Like, he was really effective in that game. Also, as far as cons, what I didn't really like about him is he can struggle to gain separation. Obviously, even with his downfield speed, he can... I don't know. Sometimes they can keep up with him somehow, and he just can't really shake them off. And not really a good yak guy either. Yeah. And this is another guy to me. He seemed like he had the bad habit of jumping to catch it when it does not matter. Like, we don't need to be doing that, but he's another guy that has that bad habit. But overall, yeah, I'm a big fan of the guy, and I think these guys disrespected him quite a bit, but we'll see.
He did have impressive speed. He showed that at the Combine. 4.37 40-yard dash at 6'4", 198. So he's exactly the kind of receiver, now that we've done this is our 3rd year doing this on the podcast, he's the exact kind of receiver that you like and I dislike.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just because it is the lateral agility thing. The lateral agility is not there. In Tennessee, the way they play, they always either send him deep or they give him a screen for whatever reason, and I hated it every
that was a little
time.
weird, yeah.
Hated. He gained just 3.6 yards after catch per reception. Actually, he gained just 3.6 yards per catch on catches behind the line of scrimmage in 2025.
Yeah, but they kept doing it.
They kept giving it to
Yeah.
him. It's like basically you have better. That's basically like 3.6 yards per carry. Like, that's not very good, and you can just hand it off to a running back and
do the same
but
thing.
yes, but I also didn't like how it feels like he didn't give every route his full effort. Like, sometimes it looked like he was running in slow motion, is what I saw. And leads into my comp, I gave him Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants, tall, skinny, and a build like he should have some speed. He's got 6 tentacles, not 8, which is kind of weird. We don't have to go into that. He's got suction cups lining them that would allow him to make some circus catches. But sometimes he's just lazy, and he doesn't always put in 100% effort. But
That's a good one.
Yeah, you guys said, well, my comp for him to stick along with your Dodge theme, Kian.
Oh.
I have him as a great value, Tet McMillan. If Tet McMillan is the Dodge Charger, Chris Braswell II is the Dodge Neon. Or for us Steelers fans here, if we want to take a throwback here, I have him as a Martavis Bryant.
Ooh.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yep.
hopefully less weed.
Hopefully, yes.
Carson, you want to pick somebody?
Yeah, so my shout-out I'm going to give is, I'll just start by saying I'm not proud of it.
Okay. All right.
Because, so, these people they are already known by their last name. I don't want people to give them, like, an advantage. The Bronny Jameses of the world, they're, like...
The worst.
They're like, we got to give him, like... They're like, he's got to be good because he comes from the family.
Is that nepotism?
Marvin Harrison
nepotism.
Jr., the Thaddeus Moss, Arch Manning. They're all like, these names are like, he's got to be a little bit good because, or he has the heritage, you know?
Yep.
And that's why I did not want to like Bryce Lance out of North Dakota State. I'm like, we already know the family, Trey Lance. They're known as busts now. He's probably, Trey Lance is third overall, and then he busts, or second, or whatever it was. So I didn't want to like the guy, but the more I watched, the more I liked. Great ball tracking and body adjustments downfield. He has good build-up speed. It seems like he just runs past guys every time. Cole Payton and him had an insane connection. Pretty much all Cole Payton's highlights were to Bryce Lance downfield because he just runs past guys. And I don't normally pay attention or care about the 40-yard dash times, but Bryce Lance was the one guy that I did care about it for because he played in the FCS. So I was like, I don't know if these guys are just super slow or if he's actually fast. So I put an asterisk beside his name. I'm like, I'm going to keep an eye out for his 40 time. Runs a 4.31 at 6'3", 200 pounds. I'm like, dang, okay, he's fast, incredible athlete. So what I see is true. Good route running, good quickness, especially for his size. And like I said before, he was the go-to guy from North Dakota State. Now, I couldn't move him up any higher because even with all this size, he lets the ball come to him in these jump ball situations, and he doesn't go up and get it. He's not really an attacker of the ball. He just kind of lets it drop in his bucket. Not much after the catch, and then I talked about it. He only played in the FCS. I have him comped to Nick Nash. I'm not really proud of that, but I couldn't think of anything much better. So,
yeah, the athleticism is so there, and you can dock him for playing at an FCS school, but this guy dominated in both seasons. He was given a chance to start. In 2024, he went 51 receptions for 1,079 yards, 21.2 yards per reception, and 8 receiving touchdowns. In 2025, he went 75 catches, upped himself, 1,053 receiving yards, 14 yards per reception, and 17 receiving touchdowns.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So this guy did put on a show, and only 5 drops in his college career. That's 3.8% drop rate, and but yeah, you can definitely see the poor competition he played against. Again, yeah. But it was impressive that he did all of that. But the other question that I have for him that goes into a con is he only going to be a deep threat in the NFL? Slender frame that might get rocked on catches over the middle of the field. He never really had to prove his lateral agility on route running ability to gain separation because the FCS cornerbacks were not good and they're probably going to be like plumbers or something.
Yeah, it's like why run a route on when we can just run past them
Facts.
for a touchdown.
And he
That
did
was
that.
literally every play.
Yeah.
It's like, why go short on a slant when I can just run right at him, put a small hand move on it, and I'm gone. Like 5 yards of separation every time.
Yep, at least.
Yeah.
And so my comp for him was playing Madden on rookie difficulty level, running 4 verticals every single play, and chucking it up to your fastest receiver every time. Like, I don't know how much to take from this. How is he actually good? I don't know.
It's so hard. It's hard to say, yeah.
But the speed, though, is definitely there. On top of the fast 40-yard dash you touched on, he jumped 41.5 inches vertically, and then broadly, he jumped 11 feet and 1 inch, which is all just very good numbers. So he did put on a show in that matter. Another sleeper that I want to touch on who played at a smaller school. I got to scroll up here.
Oh, boy.
His name is Ted Hurst.
You sure? Yeah.
State. Ted Hurst from Georgia State. He's getting a lot of hype right now as a sleeper after this solid combine he just put up. Mm-hmm. Carson, can you pull up the numbers on Ted Hurst? What I saw from him, though, I think he's got quick and choppy feet for his size. He's like 6'3", 207, somewhere around there. Great for beating press coverage at the line of scrimmage, again, against bad competition, but he made it look easy. He changes speeds to beat defenders in his routes. He's going to chop his steps and get the cornerback off balance to beat press coverage, then stride out, then chop his feet again if he has to, then stride out again. He's not really something you see from taller wide receivers. This guy's so willing to change speeds, and he's so darn good at it. Really good speed for his size with good acceleration. I was very interested to see what he's going to run at the 40. And he put up a good time, right?
Yeah, and actually make that 6'4", 206. Yeah. Almost 33-inch arms, almost 10-inch hands. He ran a 4.42 with a 36.5-inch vert jump, broadly 11.3.
11.3 broad, yeah.
Yeah,
so
massive.
this guy is explosive, and it is important for these guys like Bryce Lance and like Ted Hurst coming out of smaller schools to prove that they can put up athletically what the guys from bigger schools who went up against better competition can put up. But snappy in his routes, he does cuts, fakes, double moves, comes back to the ball. He's got the strength to run through some arm tackles after the catch and keeps his legs turning. But the cons for him that I had, 9.7% drop rate throughout his college career. But he can also sometimes make some crazy circus catches with his arms extended. I think it's more of like it's like you play with fire, sometimes you're going to get burned.
True.
And that's what happened. And he also, another con, obviously, he played in the Sun Belt with not great competition. But he did thrive with 961 receiving yards in 2024 and 1,004 receiving yards in 2025. So again, with these guys like Bryce Lance, Ted Hurst, if they're playing at a smaller level, you at least want to see them dominate, and both these guys did. He averaged 81.9 receiving yards per game in his FBS career, which is very impressive. Mm-hmm. And my comp for him is Jamal Murray, who is the Denver Nuggets point guard. He does all the crossovers, fakes, changing speeds of an NBA point guard to get past defenders, but he stands taller. He's like 6'4", 6'5", Jamal Murray is, and I guess Ted Hurst is also 6'4". Yep. He's consistent, he's pretty reliable, and he can take over a game, which is how I feel about Ted Hurst. I think this guy's a big sleeper in this class.
Yeah, I agree. I think to sum it up, my comp is what people want Malachi Fields to be.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's like this guy has, I think, more athleticism. I think he did it at a small school, yes, but he has put up the numbers, and he has all the athleticism to do it. And I think that you can get him much later in the draft if you don't get Malachi Fields, but you're looking for a Malachi Fields.
Yeah, Malachi Fields might be like a second or third round pick, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, what's this guy projected to be, like 5th or 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Cool. I'm all good with my shout-outs.
Yeah. We'll talk about more of them whenever we do our mock draft and we get kind of into the depths of it.
Yeah.
3-rounder or?
Yeah, 3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds this year. We'll see. But yeah, at least 3 rounds. We might talk about some other receivers that we didn't hit on.
Sure. So look forward to that. Thank you guys. Ooh. Thank you guys for watching this one. We appreciate it as always. And stay tuned for more of our draft videos coming up on more positions. And yeah, thanks again. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know where we're wrong. Don't hate us for Josh Cameron at 10. Watch some videos. You'll get it.
Yeah. Tight ends next week.
Yeah, tight ends next week. Look forward to that. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Catch you next time.